Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Real Talking Podcast, episode 6 today with your hosts, Ash and JD.
Well, that's it.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm still shocked by last week's intro. I thought there'd be a bit more.
Well, you can do it every week if you want. You have to follow up with a few yourself.
One day, mate.
Yeah. So, I think I'll start off today's episode. Have you seen the viral video of Arnold Schwarzenegger filling in his pothole?
No.
Mate, it made me laugh. I think he'd fit well with all these rest of the dickheads fucking doing the roadworks because it took him pretty much all day to fit in like a meter's worth of a pothole. And you can see like he's got full production with it. He's got fucking cameras there and his mates. And it's like the shovel's overly heavy. Like you don't need a shovel that heavy, mate. And he's slowly dragging it around and he's pushing it back and forward. And even a lady pulls up, like, "What you doing? Oh, that's amazing!" God.
And is this outside his house? Or,
It's
well, it seems like, yeah, because he wouldn't just run. Well, imagine if he did just
Yeah.
randomly do
Just
potholes.
somehow that he keeps driving his tank around. He probably made the fucking pot,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Feels
Yeah.
bad.
So he's fucking, yeah, he spells it in with him and his mates. And I just thought, well, there's just no need like, to
No,
make such.
yeah, the production of it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it literally is just like a zoom in of the shovel fucking putting the tarmac, pushing it around, and it's like, oh, God, get a grip, man. Well, I mean, fair play to him, he's doing something, but there's been a lot of them floating around like in these potholes. There's some dickhead over here. He's been putting pot noodles, potholes. And I think the money that you waste just to do that, and he's there like, yeah, this pothole's taken 25 pot noodles. And it's like, what the fuck?
Just, just one night, he was just thinking,
I'm just
I've got a
thinking,
pot noodle. I'm
Yeah.
sick of potholes. I'm a noodle dog's pot.
Obviously for the pot noodles as well. But the cost of that would be a lot more than just buying a bag of the tarmac.
Yeah.
In the pot.
Need a few king size, don't you?
Yeah, well, you don't get much more of the king size anyway.
Just a bigger tub.
Absolute fucking joke. And then speaking of prices, 68p for a Freddo now.
What?
The little Freddo fucking chocolate bars that we used to get for 10p.
Yeah.
68p of fucking Freddos.
So I remember it was outrageous when I went to 15 pence.
Well,
I think it was 20 pence.
yeah, because it went up to 12p. And then it was 15. And
Do you remember the Taz ones as well?
yeah.
Also, those Space Raiders crisps went up, and they only get two for like 50 pence.
Yeah, I think I've seen them for 25p in some shops still, but they're a bigger bag now as well. So you can get the big bag, which
Yeah.
is like the equivalent of 4 of the little ones for £1. But, they're underrated, to be fair, as a crisp. The fucking little Space Raiders and the Transformers as the little cars. And I remember as a kid trying to put the wheels on them.
Yeah, it just
They're
yeah.
never big.
I remember the Raider crisp, especially with spicy flavour.
Yeah, and the fucking big, big breath
Oh, I
sticks
didn't like
afterwards.
the beef one.
Uh,
Anyway.
So going off the back of last week's episode with the paranormal activities and stories, there was another one that came to mind the other day that I've got. Not a personal experience. It was from mother. So I mean, it's been about 15 years or so since Granddad died, her dad, and I remember her telling me. So she was in bed. And it was while Grandad was in hospital because obviously he retired, hit the drink, and in the drink everything fucking started to bad and so on of him. So in the hospital, just waiting to die basically. And fucking so mum's in bed, and as most people do, they've got the glass of water or pop or whatever on the sides. And she just fucking woke up because it had just fallen on the floor. So she's obviously asleep, and it's not like she's whacked it around because she'd always have to sit up to be able to reach it off the little solitaire. So it's fell on the floor and fucking she hasn't thought anything of it. She said she's got up, she's got a towel and she's starting to clean it up and whatnot. And then like 4 minutes later she gets the phone call there. Granddad's passed. But as she's gone to the hospital with now, it was one of the nurses or the doctors that says as he was going, he's reached for his glass of water, like the little plastic cup of water, and he's knocked it off. and that was his last movement. He's knocked his water off, and then he's just went. And so it was literally the same time. Mum always obviously associated it with his somehow knocked his water off to say, yeah, that's me gone. Just fucking
It's weird, eh?
yeah, well, because it literally was I can't guarantee it was the same second. It was probably he's fucking knocked it off past and then fucking come to mum and gone, ooh, leave that on. But, yeah, just a fucking another mad one. Well, there's no reason for it to have fell off in the first
Mm.
place. But
And it's just weird, like how they line up.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it was while she was cleaning up, so within minutes of it happening, she gets the phone call from the hospital because
Yeah.
they probably would have tried ringing Nan, but old lady doesn't know how to fucking use a phone, and to get out of bed to go and answer the landline would have took a while anyway. So yeah, as mum got the phone call, yeah, fucking weird. But then that also reminded me of the time at my sister's wedding in that fucking haunted pub.
Oh yeah. I don't know how. I don't know.
Yeah, so that you actually
Yeah.
had an experience.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was weird. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to tell the story?
No, no. I'll let you.
So
Yeah. Just
it was obviously a wedding, busy, and the main reception bit where we was, the bar was rammed.
too busy. Yeah.
And it was, I'm a bit antisocial anyway. And we was already at that phase where we don't want drinking around crowds of people. So since there was that little pub to the side, which was a part of the same venue, it was like, yeah, sweet,
Yeah.
empty, get our drinks from there, sound. And then we just, was it at the table? Was it the bar?
No, we was at the bar and we was just having a little debrief about everything because it was a long day. It was coming like midnight, like midway through the night.
Yeah,
and
it's still early enough.
it was still
It's
early enough,
6 o'clock.
but like for like the day, it was a long day. But like obviously, we're just relaxing. It was just after all the food, if I remember.
Yeah,
The bar was crazy. Let's go here. Let's just chill out here for
just
10.
have a bit of
Have a
fun,
beer here.
yeah,
And we're just recapping about the whole day.
yeah.
And yeah, it
I
was,
just remember
we was just at the bar. Oh,
Yeah,
I can't believe I forgot about this.
I know I had mine in my hand. Because it was Kiefer's
It was
point, wasn't
Kiefer's point, yeah.
Yeah, and I just remember just seeing it in the side of my eye, just pushed to the side, as if like when you see these videos of the cats on the fucking the worktop or whatever, and they just push a cup off the side. It just moved, and it just went straight off and onto the floor.
How I remember it, it seemed, I can't believe I forgot about this last week. It seemed to me like, when you see in the movies where someone slides a drink across the bar to someone outside, in the
Yeah,
movies
yeah.
can have another, and the bartender would just, I mean, his pint glass, I remember him having a bit, put it on the bar,
Yeah,
and that thing just went,
yeah, just
like, not unbelievable, but he just, to the point where we all stood back and was like, whoa! The ghost wanted the best.
I ain't having this dickhead in my pub. At least it was Kiefer's, not ours. Anyway.
Yeah.
Fucking
Oh, I can't believe, yeah.
Yes.
I can't believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember we obviously got another point for him, and we was telling everyone. And we were like, oh no,
Yeah, there might be. I remember someone saying that.
it was probably wet or on an angle.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was dry.
It was dry, and the bar was
flat.
flat.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, you're not gonna go nowhere and have serve beer on a like decline.
No, I mean I have been in pubs where they are atrocious like that,
But like, put to the point where you can put it in slip off.
if it was wet, yeah. So if they didn't have the beer mat cloth things on the side,
No.
if they didn't put it on that, then you had the potential of sliding off. Well, put the one pounds actually, because it was a solid solid wood worktop, and it was never treated or never looked after properly. So because where you've got a crack in the middle, then over time the moisture's just going in and then it bowed.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And so yeah, if you didn't have those mats on there and if it was wet, it would slide off of there.
Mm.
But it definitely wasn't like that in that pub anyway.
No,
It was all
I can't believe I forgot about that because that beer did fly. Look,
yeah.
not like soon, like look, but like
It
to
was
the
good
point where
mats.
we stepped back and was like, whoa!
Yeah.
And he moved because he fell off the end, didn't he? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we was right at the end of the bar, and he'd moved. I'd say at least a meter, maybe 2 meters. it was all could we was kind of like circled around each other, if I remember
yeah,
correctly.
it was a good distance because I know we definitely had enough time to one
Like
of us,
wiry.
yeah, and one of us could have easily grabbed it, but it was just in shock. It was,
Because we could have just been like, no.
yeah, but no, just stood there and just thought, what?
You know what? I wish now we would have went back to the venue and asked if they got any camera footage because
Well, yeah, CCTV
It-
would have been nice.
yeah, just to validate that.
Yeah. No one believed us though. They just fucking
No.
dismissed it, which was a shame. Shame for the points and for the staff having to clean it up as well.
Yeah, because I remember asking him, we was like, we didn't do it. He fell
Yeah.
in toe, he fell in toe.
Yeah. Strange. And so moving on from that then, I had a thought the other day because since the Last of Us, I'm seeing all these videos. There's apparently a zombie outbreak in China, and then there's reports of a fungus, well, the way that it is in The Last of Us, and that someone's actually died from it. I think it was a scientist that's been actually researching funguses, fungi for years. He's died of this disease that no other humans actually ever had before. But with that, I've just thought, what if you're around it all the time? You're gonna get it. It's gonna evolve to be able to kill you. But yeah, from that, all these zombie outbreaks and that are apparently happening now, I thought now's the time to ask, what are we gonna do when the world's fucked and we are a part of a zombie apocalypse?
Well, you know, that everyone's thought this at some point. What would they do? And I'm sure like people would be like listening, being, I'll do this, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Well, 14% of Americans have a zombie apocalypse plan. 14%.
Well, I think with the Americans, they have to have more of a plan in general because a lot of them they can get the tornadoes, the tsunamis, and whatnot.
Yeah.
So they've already got a sort of emergency kit.
And they have guns, which
Yeah,
which is obviously in that sense ideal.
yeah,
But
a lot easier. So I think that
and it's more vast, so you can get it, you can escape from it. I feel.
there's definitely a lot of land.
Yeah. So I just feel like I'm not saying it'd be easier in America, but I think it would be. I think
They've definitely got an
if
advantage.
if you have guns, it's easier.
Yeah.
100%. You know. But yeah. So I think. So are we? What kind of zombies are we talking about here? Are we going like Shaun of the Dead, like lurkers, homers from Zombieland?
Yeah,
You know, just or we going roamers are attracted by noise that attack, or if you want to carry on the Zombieland theme, Hawkins, which is super smart, or the T800s, which are hard to kill, or we having all of them, or just what ones are we going for?
well, I think they would evolve over time themselves.
So
wouldn't
we're gonna have in this scenario that we're gonna talk about, we're gonna have all these. So we're gonna have
they?
roamers, lurkers, the Hawkins, and the T800.
Yeah.
So
Because I think at first it would be of that nature that they'd just all be
like just,
yeah, just roaming around.
but then listen, then get smart, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't think there'd be a
But that would be like years though, wouldn't it?
potential, yeah, if you wasn't
Mm.
able to get on top of it and eliminate them. Yeah, I think they would they'd just initially be not as slow as they are in Shaun of the Dead. I think
Yeah.
they'd still have, because at first the muscles are still intact, aren't they?
Yeah.
They've still got the same strength and speed that you'd have when you're a normal person. So they'd be able to run around, catch, and kill.
Mm.
So
So we're going. So when he first, so in our scenario, at the first outbreak, we're going that there's still mobile enough to start off with.
yeah, because
So there's not going to be lurkers or we just
I think it's literally just down to the individual that's being infected.
Okay.
Because
So if you're old, you're going to be a lurker.
yeah, if you're
Yeah.
already unable to move properly, you're not going to be able
Yeah.
to just have that ability once you're infected. So
Okay.
essentially, it's just
So yeah, and would you have rules, Jack? Like Columbus? Would you make cardio?
yeah, you definitely
You'd
gonna
have to make a rule book.
yeah, you're gonna have to start training.
Double tap.
Yeah, easily because you can't you see it too often. Not just in the zombie films, but in all these horror films and
Mhm.
that. The things have killed him, and then they're not dead.
Side note. So like just that is the no what we'll save that for another day. Let's
Yeah.
bring it back, bring it
Yeah.
back, bring it back. Yeah, so all right, day one. day one. Comes up on the TV, radio. You're in your house.
Yeah.
What's your day one plan?
Well, so I think because the news announcements would be saying keep your door and windows locked, stay inside, and wait for further information. So it's potentially the first week where you're living off of your supplies that you've got in the house and waiting to see what happens.
The other thing I've been really thinking about this scenario, how long would gas and electric and water be running for in our scenario? We're saying 2 days or a bit longer.
Again, it just depends on the reserves at that point in time. If the gas tanks and supplies have just been
So,
filled,
all right.
then we'd have.
So in our scenario, we're going for a week's worth, or is that too much?
No, I'd imagine it would probably be a week at first.
Yeah.
And then once it got to a point where staff and emergency staff, whatever, can't go to the power plants and whatever to keep everything running,
Okay.
that's when it would all
Right.
run.
So I just wanted to get a sense of like boundaries. So okay, so day one, sorry, it happens. You lock all the doors, as you said.
Yeah.
What do you do from then?
So yeah, you just wait it out because you'd have to imagine that between the militaries and the police departments and that they'd be able to sort it out straight away because you'd think it would only be say no more than 5% of the population that's infected at first. So they'd be able to just dispose of them. But we're going along the lines that there's all fucking idiots.
Well, you're saying that, but physics students of Leicester University calculated that in as little as 100 days, humans would be outnumbered by 1,000,000 to 1.
Yeah.
And then, what was that? And then, sorry, and everyone would be dead in less than a year. That's what their conclusion that they've come up with.
Yeah, so that's going along the basis that the military and the police and everyone else doesn't know what to do. Probably,
Everyone's panicking, I suppose, now.
and it's probably a moral thing. They don't want to kill the infected because there's the chance of curing them and getting them back to the way that they are. But you just have to go off of the way that you do see it on the TV and the films and that. You just got to fucking kill them. So
So that's your day one.
I think that's week one.
That's week one.
And essentially, until you've got no food or water and that to continue surviving inside your house, you just got to stay in. But once those provisions are put, then you've got to start venturing out.
Yeah. So, see, I've thought about this loads because, so my day one, bit same but a bit different. Everything goes upstairs.
Yeah.
All the curtains, everything gets drawn downstairs. Upstairs, take all the tin food, run the bath, fill the bath up just in case, so it's maxed out. Water, do that to every sink, fill every cup and saucepan with water that you don't need.
Yeah.
So you've got, just when that water does stop,
Yeah.
you've got a reserve. Then what I would do, I'd look out the window, top window, I'd write every other car that's coming out from neighbours. So if I know one of my neighbours has left and his car hasn't been there, it's all logged.
Yeah.
And that would be obviously going for future preferences when you do have to venture out. So day one, we've got our same, it's pretty much the same. You lock the doors, you wait out. So going up towards week one, so say you've been in there for a few days now. What's your week one? So 7 days onwards. So you've done the week. What's going on now?
So now it's a part of
Yeah, go on.
trying to get out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm talking myself up. So obviously I've got.
I was gonna say, what
Yeah.
are you fucking flexing while you're going out there?
So I've already got my toolbox and
Okay.
my bits and bobs in the garage. So I've got an axe, I've got several hammers, and it wouldn't be feasible, but if I could figure out a way of using it somehow, I'd have one of my drills.
The thing is though with that, it's all close range equipment, so you'd have to be up in. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but this is why it's got to be realistic for us because we in the UK we don't have the access to the guns, so we'd have to rely on those close object weapons. You know, I've got bits of timber and screws and stuff that I could make myself bats, and weapons with, you know, the nails and screws and whatever sticking out with. So that I'll be doing that
Mm.
towards the end of week one anyway, getting ready.
And in terms of, so you've got it tooled up now. What are you wearing? In terms of, are you just
It just
putting
depends.
layers on? Are you,
It depends on the weather because if it's hot,
yeah, but
you can't.
it's hot with the zombies, mate. So like,
Yeah.
are you venturing 5 minutes or 5 hours? So like,
So yeah, because again, at first I haven't got.
but then if it's sunny, wouldn't you go out in the dark?
I mean,
You know what I'm saying? So like, so anyway, all right.
yeah, so I wouldn't want to venture out much in the night because depending on what these zombies can do,
But
I
it
wouldn't
just
want to be
the same.
driving roads around.
Yeah, but it's just the same as the day, isn't it? Like it, it's
Yeah.
night time, so it's darker.
But it's visibility factor because I want to be able to know what I can see a potential danger target coming towards me from all
Mm.
around. Whereas at night it's hard to see,
Okay.
isn't it? Because they could be walking
Okay.
up behind a truck or something that's parked up. And
Right.
you can't see.
So let's just
So
say,
it'd be more so daytime.
right. So let's just say it's your average day then. So
Yeah.
perfect weather conditions, while you flexing.
So because I haven't got any like a stab-proof vest or
Mm.
any armor of sorts, like your knee pads, your
Yeah.
elbow pads, a cycling helmet, because I haven't got anything. At first, I am just going out in the thickest jacket that I've got
Mm.
to try and help any bite going through if
Yeah.
it got to that point. And then I'll try and find those sorts of shops where I could get some of that. So like a bike shop where you've got the harder armor to be able to get some of that padding on you. And just hope that the shops and that haven't been raided too much, really,
Mm.
because obviously we saw it with the COVID pandemic of how little there was in any of the shops and that.
Yeah.
People start buying bog roll. I mean, if it's a zombie apocalypse, you probably would stop buying bog roll, to be fair, and you'd learn how to make it because you can't. Well, I mean, we can't because it's not in our culture and the mentality side of things. It's not nice, the force of wiping your backside with your hand. So it's venture out, try and find whatever food and other provisions that you can do.
And then would you bring that back to your home base, or would you then think I need to move from this scenario because I've ventured out, I've seen my surroundings.
Yeah.
You know, there's not enough here. I'm venturing out. Well, what am I doing?
Well, if we're still able to be in contact with people, so if I was still able to call you,
But
then
in a week, you would say probably not. I would say probably not. I mean,
Oh.
you would think it all.
yeah, I think in that first week I'll be making these phone calls and that though.
Yeah.
Just like so obviously seeing how you are, everything's all right, and then immediate family, mum
Yeah.
and father and that. And then since we're fairly close, I'd be trying to venture to you, and then like say picking up mum and that as well, so we can stay as a group, and then finding somewhere, Shaun and the Dead style, bigger that we can all lay together then to make sure strength in numbers.
Yeah. And that would be your week one plan.
Yeah,
So there's in your week one plan, that's what you would like to achieve.
yeah.
Okay.
So the strength in numbers,
Yeah.
and it's just easier. So you can split up. Right, I'm going to check this shop. We'll check that shop, and then meet
Mm.
back here. And then then, oh yeah, they're all right. No, they've not come back. Let's go and have a
Yeah.
look. And then find a big enough building. So like a pub, or a sports centre or something where it's easy enough to get a good few people in. I suppose, since there's plenty of them around, the old people's homes and the assisted livings and that, where there's multiple bedrooms.
I now have those multiple locked doors, don't I, where you
Yeah,
have to be buzzed in.
Yeah, and it's got all the it's got your kitchen,
Yeah.
big kitchens and that.
Showers, multiple showers.
Yeah, a lot of them do have like generator backups as well. That'd be another thing I'd find from somewhere, the little portable solar powered generators, so we could charge up torches, radios,
Yeah.
or whatever, so we can still try and stay in contact with people. There's definitely a lot of walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
Raid as many of them as I could.
Because so my week one would be slightly different. I would, as I said, I'm logging all the neighbours that have left and hasn't come back. So week one, food's getting low. I've got my water reserve.
Yeah.
What I would do raid the neighbours' houses, going off the back, going in.
But that's assuming that they've already gone.
No, no, but that's what I'm saying. I've logged in. So this car, this reg, is left from number whatever and hasn't returned. So I know that I'd only do them once.
Yeah.
So I'm in, raiding, coming back. Then hopefully that's my week one. But to while out as much as you can. So going off to your, so that's week one. So you're, let's go to month one. Where would you want to be at? Also, sorry, just before we move on. So month one, you'd probably need essentials. So according to all that's interesting.com, what do you reckon the top 5 essentials would be for zombie apocalypse?
So I'd say probably a means of cooking. So, you got camping sets for like little gas stoves.
It actually,
So that's not on the list.
it kind of. So tin food, but not, food that's not biodegradable is on there.
Yeah, yeah.
So you would assume that you'd need that with that
Yeah,
to
because
cook it.
I know there's some weirdos out there, but you want to be able to heat up your beans and
Yeah.
stuff, don't you? But yeah, definitely tin foods. I'd love to say bottled water.
Yeah, water is
But
one of them.
with the way a lot of these plastic bottles are, they ain't gonna last for too long. So you'd end up going through the bottles sooner rather than later.
Well, that's what I'm saying about the water reserve. That's what everything's for.
Yeah, but so again, going with the water scenario, then I'd be because I remember it from school how to make a water filtration system. So I'd be able to get
Yeah.
water from the rivers and whatever and get
From
some
the tree.
fresh water that way. So I wouldn't rely too much on it. But yeah,
Yeah.
at first you'd get as much bottled water as you could. After that, really,
There's one that you've just mentioned that you would need to use that equipment. So your walkie-talkies they need to be
yeah. So with the
batteries.
yeah,
Yeah. So utility supplies, including batteries, that's like one of the must-haves.
see, that's why I'd have to find one of those solar powered generators because a lot of these devices, same as the way your mobile phones are at these
But wouldn't
days.
that make loads of noise though?
No, it's literally it's just a solar powered panel on the top that charges a battery.
Uh-huh.
So not a generator. But I would look at that further down. But yeah, it's just a big battery bank.
Yeah.
And so the solar power charges it up, and then you can charge your walkie-talkies and that because where a lot of devices don't require your AA, your AAA batteries and whatever now, you'd need a means of recharging them
Yeah.
because the last walkie-talkies that we had were it was just on a little charge station.
Yeah.
So you'd need to be able to do that really.
So you got 3. So there's 2 more. One of them, I was kind of like, I didn't think it was. Oh, sorry, going back to utility supplies, a can opener, that's underrated.
yeah, yeah.
That's something that when you're panicking, you're not like, fuck, I need this can opener.
Yeah.
You will need that.
Yeah.
Obviously, torches, what you just said, and with the batteries.
Yeah, I think the tin opener that I've got, because it opens bottles and stuff as well, so it definitely be a part of what, as I leave the house, grab it, because it's a magnetic one, it's on the side of the
Yeah.
fridge, so I wouldn't miss it. Yeah, again, the tools in general, because like the I've got them, they're going straight into the van and that, so they're getting transported around.
But
So,
that's saying that there's diesel left, fuel left, or whatever you've only got the range. I think ideally you'd only have the range that your van's got. I don't think you'd be able to go to the petrol station a week in, fill up, and it'd be too dangerous on the first few days to do that.
yeah, but see, I don't know if I've already mentioned it before. I know in my head how I'd be able to rig an electric vehicle to be able to charge itself up as I'm driving.
So you'd
essentially,
have to down the line get an electric vehicle.
just find it, steal it, whatever means you have to do. But Yeah,
Borrowing
be
it,
able
mate.
to, yeah, borrow with the intent to never give back. But yeah, I've got in my head how I can do it because your normal diesel and petrol cars, they have an alternator in them that charges the battery as you're driving. And the pure easiest way of doing it is where you've got your 12-volt adapter, what used to be cigarette
Yeah.
lighters in the cars. You plug one of those in, and then I've got one at home where it goes into the 12 volts in the car, and then you can put your plug into it to say charge your phone, boil the kettle or whatever. So you have that plugged into your car. It's powered while you're driving, and then you have your power lead to charge your vehicle plugged in
Yeah.
at the same time. Now, fair enough, it's not going to charge up at the same rate, but you'll be able to get more mileage
Yeah.
out of it. And then that's where your solar power generator comes in then to help charge it afterwards while you're in stationary mode.
So there's two more left. One of them, as I said, I wouldn't have ever thought this would be on there, but I suppose some people would be on theirs.
Clothes, you've got to be able to stockpile clothes to a certain degree.
Yeah, but
And
no.
footwear as well,
So
a part of the clothes.
I agree. You'd obviously have to have some clothes down the line, but no. So the other two is first aid.
Yeah,
So obviously it's not going to help if you get bit, but like paracetamol. And then the other one, this is the one that hygiene equipment. See,
I wouldn't expect that
yeah,
to be
yeah,
on
no,
there.
not when I was seeing it, I was just like, you would just
Yeah, I would want to have as much toothpaste available as
Yeah.
possible.
when you think about it, yeah, but
Yeah, it's horrible when you just wake up in
Yeah.
the morning, you've got a bit of a stanky breath.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd personally, I'd want to have some of that. I don't think I'm really going to be that bothered about deodorants or anything, but yeah, dental health, because I've had several teeth issues, wisdom teeth coming through and that, so I know how bad that problem can be. So yeah, that's yeah, the first aid definitely. I didn't think about that. But again, I've got one in the van, so that would be
Yeah.
going around with me.
So all right, so let's go into month one. We're
So
30 days in.
yeah,
Where are you?
so at this point, yeah, going off the principle that I've been able to find a big enough building like an old people's home or something that I've been able to get the closest I need to in there and was safe. Then it's
Because ideally, I think month one is when food would start becoming an issue.
yeah,
I think, especially with obviously in your scenario where you've got loads of people, more. I know you have more people looking for food,
yeah.
but obviously it's more mouths to feed.
But at that point, I've already set up a garden patch. Now, from what I know, potatoes are the easiest thing to grow. So I'd literally have a whole garden full of potatoes. It's diverse, and you can
Have you ever
almost.
grown potatoes?
I've left them in the cupboard and have started growing themselves. Yeah.
So the, so you'd learn you yeah
Yeah,
you try to learn this stuff.
Yeah.
See, with me, I think month one is when people start to turn on each other. 30 days in.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of that. That's
Yeah.
why you have to have your closest with you, not interact with your neighbours or whatever
Yeah.
that you're not really close with because you don't know them enough. So that's why it would have to be the closest people. And then, yeah, so I've already got the vegetable patch going. And then, yeah, while you're out, you're getting your supplies in general, whatever packs of seeds you can find, tomatoes, your pears, your apples, and whatever, and then have that growing. So you're already starting to like future-proof yourself. You've got that potential farm on the go. Again, with all that, I've already got my water filter system set up, which at first it probably would just be as I've ranked as that, getting the Brita filters and just sticking a load of them together. So I've got the rainwater going through, so I've got a constant new supply. I know it's not going to be a constant supply overall in general because it's not always raining, but there'll be enough to be able to ration and stay together. And yeah, just get the rules into place that, well, yeah, we've got enough food to be able to last 2 weeks.
So you wouldn't move away with once you've got everything that you've just acquired, would you would you move to the countryside within that first month where it's less dense, or would you where you this other people's home or this sports hall? That's your
Yeah, it just
husband.
depends on where the crowds infected are.
Well,
Because
you would say it's
if they've stayed local,
you would
they've
think
not-
it's city. Because sort of when you the more you're in the city, the more.
yeah. So if they're in a city area, I'm not going to set up camp right by them.
But well,
I'd be
would
trying to
it
get
be
away.
hard to find a sports hall or an old people's home?
Yeah, mansion or something, a building of that
Okay.
type where it's got enough rooms to be able
Mm.
to. You've still got your own privacy, but you're a part of a little community.
Yeah.
Because I think off the top of my head, it'd probably only be about 15 people roughly that I'd like to try and have as a group to start
Yeah.
with. I mean, yeah, in the countryside, a nice mansion of sorts, that would be ideal because a lot of those do already have a wall around them.
Mm.
So you've got some sort of defence and plenty of land. So that's me garden patch,
Yeah.
my little farming corner. And then it's a matter of getting the means of teams. Right, you're venturing out today to see what supplies we can get. Maps, you can't undervalue maps in this situation as well. A lot of people won't even know what a map is because they're just used to it as an app on the phone. But we're at that age.
They are A to Z.
Yeah, we used to have them. And then with the army background, as minimum as I have got it, I know how to read a map properly. So I'd be marking off, right, we tried this area, we tried that one.
Yeah.
Just little X's. And I'd have several maps the same. So that would be a
Yeah,
supply run.
Do not go here. Like there's too many that are over there, kind of thing.
Yeah. So one that I've put marks on saying, look, right, that we've got all the supplies from there, supplies from there, supplies from there. So don't go there anymore. And we know what areas we haven't explored. And then a separate map of saying, well, that's a lot of infected there. This one seems fairly quiet, so it's a potential safe zone. And then one just completely blank, so you still know where to go, where you can go. Just read the map in general.
Okay. So in your month one, obviously, we spoke about the zombies, but then you said you've still got the tools, and obviously now this time there'd be a lot more zombies a month in than there was a week in.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your plan then in case the mansion you or your accommodation you were staying at just got too dangerous? You invested all your time putting these seeds and everything in, setting up base, and you had to go. No time to get everything. I want to cover this aspect. So
Yeah, so
you've got your accommodation.
Yeah.
Shit goes,
So
shit goes off, and you literally just have to flee, run away.
yeah. So what?
Because obviously, because you're month one, then hopefully, I just want to get like a branch off for this one, because obviously, if that works well, you could do it for months.
Yeah. I think while you're doing all the general prep of making future-proofing for food, you're going to be sorting out your weapons as well. So while you're raiding these shops, you're going to find other things like your machetes, your odd swords here and there, and more axes. Even though it's only a short time weapon, but your bows and arrows, your crossbows and that, until you know how to physically make a sturdy enough arrow, because it always cracks me up like with bloody Hawkeye in the Avengers. He just infinite amount of arrows. It's not. You got 12 in your fucking little pouch on your back. So
He does go and grab them back, though. You do see him on some clips. I know he can't grab all of them, but I know what he's saying.
yeah,
He
so,
shoots about 20 and collects about 2.
yeah, you're only going to be able to do that, collect so many back. So you, after a certain time, you've got to learn how to make them, and then they're not going to be as good as the ones that you've already got with the equipment. So it's not a long time weapon, that is. So that's why once you're raiding everywhere, you're gonna find these other. Essentially, you go to a Salco, a hardware shop, a tool shop, and get whatever tools can be used as weapons, and then still make your own as well. Now, I wouldn't want to be wasting too much timbers and wood materials because you're going to need as much of them for potential buildings you're going to make in the future. But when you go to a sports shop and you find these bats and that, adapt those for weapons. So as an emergency, shit, we've got to go. You've already got basic weapons that you can travel around with if you're on foot or if you have still got a mode of transport to be able to go,
Mm.
and you've got defence that way. And then just always have your general backpack of your emergency stash. Because again, at some point, you'd be able to get into an army barracks where they have a good supply of your ration packs as well. So if you could get those ration pack style supplies, then it's lighter on the weight, more room in your bag to be able to travel and last a couple of weeks. So I'd have those emergency procedures in place. But with the building that I've got, I would be making sure that I've got a substantial security.
Yeah, like
the
fortifying.
Yeah, so everything's barricaded downstairs. That it's not. There's one way in. There's a secret way out,
Yeah.
but it's not a direct door. It's an emergency exit of sorts. So you're only coming in and going out of one main way.
Mm.
But I don't know if you're fortunate enough that there's a window with a fire escape set of stairs on the side or something, then that's your way out in
Yeah.
those emergencies. I think by that point, though, the main threat would be other little groups of people
Fractions.
trying to get in.
Going. So that's the thing. It comes to a point where you're not just fearful of the zombies. It's other people trying to take it.
Yeah. So you'd have to quickly really get it out of your heads that you can't just not attack anyone. Someone's coming at you, forget that they're
Yeah.
infected or not, just whack them
But
with the
then,
head.
so would you become the attacker? So what I'm saying is, you're playing that nice guy routine. As if someone attacks you, I'll attack them back.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Because there's never been a zombie that I can think of, like movie or series, where they've played the aggressor. I think I didn't watch all of The Walking Dead, but where up to I watch it, there was always the ones getting attacked and retaliating. Or
That's how it was most of the time.
Yeah.
I've still got to watch the last couple of seasons of that, to be fair, but it was more so they'd only retaliate and then
Yeah.
attack there.
so would you be the aggressive? So say you've travelled out from your homestead, sports shop, baseball bats,
Mm.
walk in there, 3 of yous, 3 of them. Would you wait for them to be like, fuck off? Or would you just be like, machete?
You'd have to just evaluate each individual situation, because if they're being sound and like, yeah, all right, lads, right, yeah, we're just going to get what we can, we're going to stay away from yours,
Yeah.
then you just leave each other alone. But if they started coming towards you in that way,
Mm.
then it's not an attack, then you just have to go
Yeah.
for it. You've got to defend yourself and just hopefully win.
See, my month one is a bit different. So I would have stayed in the house as long as possible, rationed off all the neighbours, and then I would have gone with golf clubs. Drove to Costco. Now I'm driving to Costco only if when this outbreak started, I knew Costco was closed. If it was open, I knew it'd be raided. But so say, it came out overnight, and I know Costco was closed up. I would try to break into Costco and live there, and just live off everything in there
Yeah.
for a few months. But if not, I would obviously have to expand the area locally. I'd still stay local in the month one,
Mhm.
and just set up little markers. Look with a pen, just like on the number, like on the house. Just if I've cleared it, if there's zombies in there, I can see through the window.
Mhm.
And yeah, the maps. I didn't think about that. That
Yeah,
would be you.
You definitely need
Oh
maps.
my, like you would need that. That's just like
Yeah.
the most holy grail thing you
Yeah.
probably need.
I'm the sat nav king guy. I'll put my map on the phone, but everywhere that I'm going, or even if I know where I'm going, I still put it on, because with the Google Maps it has the updated traffic.
Yeah.
So it tells me if there's any roadworks or whatever. So uh, yeah, I'd have to have maps because I'd just end up getting lost.
Yeah, yeah,
There's only so much general knowledge of, well, all right, I'm heading to Manchester, and then now I carry on
yeah,
this way. I'm going to end up in bloody Liverpool, or go this way. I'm
yeah.
heading towards Newcastle, whatever. Only so much you know,
And
really.
you would assume that you'd have to stay off the motorways because obviously we're just going off what happens in the movies. That's where a lot
Yeah,
of traffic happens. Then obviously there's now a breakdown, the car's left there, and you have
yeah,
to move cars. It's a bit dangerous. You want to stay on the country roads, the side roads to get to your destination, which that's when the map is just perfect.
yeah. It's kid.
So let's move on to month three.
Hmm.
In the scenario that you've still got your homestead, your shit's growing, you're
Yeah,
thriving. What, month three, what's the plan? Where do you want to be in month three?
I think for a lot of this now, it's trying to make contact with any kinds of authorities, like your armies, governments are most likely for them. So it's trying to find out and keep in touch to see where we're at.
Yeah.
Are we looking like we're gonna get on top of the pandemic, or is it just like everything's definitely fucked there?
And I suppose how far it's gone. So
Yeah.
let's say, for instance, it started in the UK, as it spread to Europe, and if it spread to Europe, as it spread to Asia, as it
Yeah.
spread to America, South America, I suppose that's a key thing you would have to
Yeah.
learn. Is it worth trying to get above or staying?
Yeah. But I think a lot of that information of how far it spreads, is it a global pandemic? You'd be able to find out in the first couple of weeks while media, the TVs and that's still live.
Because here's another thing always thought. If it started in the UK, I know what happened straight away. Just get nuked. The country would just get
Yeah, yeah,
nuked.
just get
Obviously,
bombed off.
just an island. It's so easy to isolate that. Just nuke that off. Everyone puts like everyone would just set up ships like off the coast, like 10 miles off,
Mm.
and just no one comes into this area, no one passes it, Uh, and
Yeah,
that's what would happen. But we're going to scenario that maybe it's happened in a few places. It's spread quicker than you can imagine, because otherwise that would happen. So
yeah, it'd have to be the way that the coronavirus
yeah,
goes.
yeah, just
Yeah. But again, if it was just isolated to the UK, it still would spread because there'd be the royal family, there'd
yeah,
be like the highest of the politicians and all these other people with money that would be able to get
plain
in.
time. Yeah,
And there's there'd be someone that's already infected, a part
mm,
of, even if it's just one person out of these couple hundred people that are managing to get off the country,
yeah,
there'd be someone that's infected that's just not showing the signs yet, and so it would end up spreading.
yeah,
And so it'd be how the rest of the world
yeah.
deals with it there, because they wouldn't be able to nuke everywhere.
So in your month three, you're trying to expand, your knowledge of what's going on.
Yeah,
You
um,
know,
just
everything's going well in terms of you're growing your own vegetables, your potatoes, your homestead's going well, you're thriving.
yeah.
Then anything else?
Well, it's still just because you constantly improving the security, making sure your fences are sound, you, your doors secure, your windows and whatever, and building on your arsenal of weapons. Um, because you're not going to be able to find a bloody weapons expert that knows how to fucking get a kiln and melt down fucking metals to create bullets or anything. So you've got to make sure that your your hammers and your axes and whatever, any any blunt objects as a weapon is still sturdy, and any sharp objects stay sharp. So you're constantly working on that, and just plowing through it, just surviving, making sure that everyone's fine. I suppose you'd have a system at this point of a little bit of a round, so a little team that just walks
You,
around and proves
you'd
it.
have a committee of rules and regulations. You'd have people
Yeah.
would have, know their roles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got this team walking around, making sure there's no potential targets trying to break in or whatever, and just checking out for any infected, any of the zombies. Um, And yeah, just trying to find out as much as you can because you need to. It's going to get to the point then where you know, all right, is this life now, or is there a hope of getting back to how we used to be? So I think that'll be the next couple of months really. As long as I know that I'm safe and I'm keeping on top of any threats that are coming in, that's it until we know where we are long step.
Mm.
Well, where would you be?
So my month three, as I said, I think by month three I'd have to leave my house that I've set up for 3 months.
Mm.
I've already done everything nearby. I need to move on.
But if you was able to get to the Costco, though,
Yeah, if it was in the Costco, I'm chilling.
yeah, you're
I'm chilling.
home for a
I'm
month,
good.
to be fair.
And all I'd have to do is just where the doors is, just fortify it, just push everything towards those doors. I'm chilling. Like it's got everything in there: bikes, exercising, clothes. I'm good. Hot
Yeah.
dogs.
Yeah,
uh,
that's a good point. Dogs. So obviously you've got your dog.
yeah, he would come with me.
Yeah, I've got one. Would you get more?
No, I'd just keep. Would I
Or,
pick
or
up more dogs along the way?
yeah, yeah. So as
So,
you're going around and you find dogs that have been abandoned, would you not keep them?
so in my scenario, no, because obviously if I'm in the Costco scenario, no one's coming in. That's it. That's me. But in the sense that maybe Costco's already open and it's been raided, I'd have to leave my base and look, and it comes in which direction do you go? Where do you go? Uh, so for me, I think I'd try to find a little village that's way off. You know, find a map, find, you know, a good village where it's just not, it's it's in my range, but it's not a 10-minute drive from anywhere, and you only can go through. You know, it's hard to get to, but it's feasible.
Yeah,
And try to get there, and hopefully they have set up something like you've said, where there's a home base because they've got the area that you know maybe 2 ways in and out, so they can just fortify it down the road a little bit.
yeah. I do know a few little villages.
Yeah,
Um,
and then obviously try to get join their community.
yeah, yeah.
That 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 I think that would be obviously if Costco works and it's locked and I'm in, I'm sorted. But
Mhm.
going after that, it's been ready. I have to make a decision, find somewhere, hopefully it works, and yeah. So month six, so that's half a year now.
Yeah. So you've already gone down the scavenger route, trying to
Trying to get
make friends and get into someone else's community.
yeah,
I'm the one that's got the community.
yeah, but I, I'm I'm doing it from because in the sense of your own space, you know what if you're going to a mansion 100 miles away, you don't I know you've got the maps, but you don't know what's around the corner. You could be there for 2 days and there could be a herd coming in from 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 somewhere. Yeah, as where if you're on your homestead, you know the area, so you know if that was to happen, you know the best route, and like just everyone would have to. Everyone's different, but you'd know you'd have a plan set up, like if 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 something if shit went upon, you'd have that plan ready just to escape.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be easier in your own place. But that's just mine. So yes, month six. Sorry, you've got what? Where do you want to be month six? Because your one in your thing, everything's going well. Uh, but that you're growing. So what I'm saying, like, what if it's not going well?
Yeah.
Because it's all right to say this is I'll grow this, I'll grow it out. But
Yeah. If things went sideways, then yeah, you've got to do that. You've got to find another home.
Mhm.
If you can find someone else that's already done the same, got a little
Yeah.
community of their own, you're trying to convince them that
Yeah.
you're on the same mindset and you want to be a part of it, contribute, then yeah, you'd have to do that.
Because I always feel with little villages, obviously there's farmers and they've obviously grow stuff, so
Yeah.
food would become easier
Mhm.
because you have people with that knowledge.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, if it did have to leave, then find another community to join would
Mm.
be the top.
But it's saying everything's going well. What do you?
If everything's going
Going
well,
well,
then
yeah.
I'm basically settled by month three,
Mm.
and it's just the continuation of improving the grounds that I'm on,
Yeah.
making sure everything's running sweet, and yeah, just make sure everything's fortified, and then still trying to make contact with any higher
Yeah.
power that could give us information.
I like the fact that we're going for like best case scenario and then like worst case scenario. So like say month six, that's your best case scenario. You're doing well, chilling. Month six, what you like shit happens.
So yeah, if
You know, you're getting raided by other humans that potentially got guns or a zombie herd or some TA-100s. You've got to split. What's the plan in your head by month six?
so I think if it was right, I've got to fucking go away. I can't trust anyone apart from the few immediate people with me. Then it's a matter of I've already got several immersion supplies and camping equipment. I would definitely rate that as
Yeah,
part of the
yeah.
initial rounds. And then it's just finding uh, a, a woodland area that's got plenty of natural camouflage and just essentially trying to set up camp
Mm.
in places like that.
Yeah.
Always on the run.
Yeah.
Making sure I don't get found, or if I do get found, I've got more general weapons to defend myself. I mean, again, ideally in that situation, you find a nice wooded spot that you can set up those little traps.
Mm.
But if you're trying to keep on the run every couple of days, then it's finding areas like that. It all just depends on how everyone else is.
Yeah.
You know, we've had a similar scare with the corona where people just didn't want to fucking do anything, did that? They didn't want to look out for themselves. There was a lot of selfish people that didn't care.
Mm.
They still went out, did whatever they want, had parties and stuff. So it would rely a lot on how everyone else is. But if you could find a good community and get in with them and strengthen numbers,
Okay.
you'd be all right.
So year one, let's do best case scenario in terms of you are, you know, your homestead's doing well, it's growing,
Mhm.
more fortified, more defense. What's after a year? Because obviously it's a year now. It's coming up to the anniversary.
I think
What does it change after a year? Do you get to this to the point where this isn't enough, or
in general, because you've already got the knowledge of whether there's a potential cure for it, or if the numbers have gone down, or if people are still getting infected and the population of the zombies is growing still. I'd imagine you'd have that sort of information. So you'd have to sort of just, not essentially give up, but right, now I've got this community set up, we're self-sustained. As long as we can keep it safe,
Mm.
just stay up. This is life now.
yeah,
Still have a little bit of trying to find out, keep in touch with whoever you have managed to get in touch with, whatever scientists or whatever. Still keep that little
Yeah.
contact, but until you find out whether or not it's ever going to go back to some sort of normality
Yeah.
where there's no infected anymore, just live that life.
yeah. No, I agree. Because obviously, if my year one, I can survive in Costco for a few years,
Mm.
best case. But say worst case, and I've had to move and I've had to flee to community that we spoke about. There'd have to be a point where you'd have to send people out as far as they can go, and just broaden your circle of search,
Mhm.
and just, you know, just to make point of contacts and just to say, well, you know, up north's a lot safer. You know, we can bring our community up there.
Yeah, eventually, because there would be several communities, and you'd have to start training.
Yeah,
Because you know the most likely be. So I've already got my farm set up, so I'd have food to be able to trade, and hopefully enough water that I'll be able to trade as well. And then someone else would have someone that knows how to make clothes, so they've already got
Mm.
loads of material. They've probably got a couple of sheep that they're getting the wool from and whatever. So you'd be trading food and other supplies, medicines and that as well.
so
Someone would have been
medicines
able to,
would be key.
yeah, someone would have been able to stock hold on. And most likely, if we was fortunate, someone would have a doctor or some sort that still knows how to make your general voodoo medicines, out of your natural resources, plants and whatever. So yeah, it'd be a big civilization of trading. It would go back to how ways were, the old Victorian times and before that, before there was governments essentially, before currency, where you would, I've got this,
Right.
I want that. Let's make that deal. Yeah, I think that would be the only way really. At that point, most likely, my electric car that I've managed to rig is on its last legs. The tyres are fucked, suspension's gone, and whatever. So I would have had to have made a newer system of like a trainer, a cart, and then just push bikes.
Yeah.
So like the old horse and carriageway, but it's bikes now. So it'll take a while to get from, like, say, Birmingham to Manchester, but
That's what, yeah. Because after a year,
yeah,
all the brakes be seized, all the tyres be flat on every car. Even if you
Yeah.
had a full tank of petrol.
yeah, and
You
it
know.
doesn't matter if you've got a mechanic; they're not going to be able to get all the supplies to be able to keep repairing them. So you'd have to get new ways of that because it's a lot easier to fix a bike than a car. We can do it and we're fix shit. So yeah, that would have to be the longer game of that. I mean, if you could get horses and other like say donkeys or whatever that could do that load bearing, that would help. But then you have to see along the sides of that's more mouths to feed.
Yeah.
I'd definitely have a little herd of ducks because that would help on the defense of things as well. Because if there was a little, like,
Well, and that
herd
could
coming,
hunt as well.
yeah, and then so if there's a herd coming or whatever, they're already barking.
But then again, that might. So that's the
It might
positive.
attract,
But it might attract as
Yeah.
well.
but you're training them.
Mm.
Lassie was a popular film well before we was alive, and how many times did Timmy get saved from a well? And it would have to be that sort of training role. They know something's there. Come and notify someone. Dogs are cleverer than us. Jesus Christ, So it wouldn't be that hard to be able to get them to do that. And plus, they'd be able to smell them, wouldn't they?
Yeah, you could learn. You could learn them, and it's a.
Yeah, we've got these dogs that can smell cancer.
I suppose it would. It would kind of like be. You have to sniff at dogs when they have dead bodies that are buried. You would assume that the smell would be similar to that, being that
Yeah,
dead and are rotting away.
Yeah, so yeah, dog,
Kebab, what are they called?
cadavers.
Cadavers.
Yeah. So the dogs would be a good shout. Yeah, I'd have to have them. And so yeah, after the 12 months, that's it.
That's life then.
Yeah.
That's just the way of life.
If there's definitely no way that the scientists and let's say the governments are most likely gone, but the armies and whatever, if they haven't been able to kill them off and find a cure or whatever, then that would be rebuilding a new civilization.
I mean,
be much different on the end of your 12 months.
No. Obviously, if I'm in Costco, I'm good. If I'm in a scenario where I've had to move and I've become a member of another society, like a village scenario, it'd probably be the same as the end game would probably be the same. But I'm just thinking, how long do you reckon it'll take before the zombies to die off? In terms of everyone that's alive is too well hidden.
I think it depends on their food sources because they do actually need brains, or fucking human meat or whatever to survive. Can they only survive off of human meat, or can they survive off of eating wild deer and rabbits and whatever?
Cows and everything.
And then over these 12 months, have they evolved enough to be able to catch any of the wild rabbits and that to survive on them? Yeah, I think it would be down to that. How have they evolved? And that's where you come on to these other variations. But if they stay thick and they can't really hunt for themselves and fend off of other meats and whatever, then I think after a couple of years, surely they've all died out by that point.
Yeah.
The people that have stayed on their own and just wandered
That's
the streets,
largely done.
they've either been found and are dead, or they've not been able to feed off them. So yeah, over a certain amount of time, surely they just die. Because again, there'd only be so much before they've gone through all of the wild animals if they can survive on them. But then it's that then, do the wild animals get infected themselves?
We could branch off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that could be a whole other episode.
yeah.
So
I suppose if there was to do like all the animals, you just have no chance. There'd just be too many.
yeah, and I'd definitely stick to the Irish roots then of just living off potatoes because I don't eat too much different variation of foods. So yeah, hopefully it never gets to that
Mhm.
anyway. But I think in general we've come to the same conclusion at the end of it.
Yeah.
If we can survive, then
Well, yeah. Then you just wait it out. Then I suppose.
yeah, we've got to that point of having
You've cried.
authorities and new world order.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think hopefully everyone's still stay tuned and they agree with us.
Yeah.
But if they have got anything different, then send us an email. I'm still waiting for you to send an email or a tweet or anything. So it's still the same socials. The Real Talking Podcast. Twitter's Real Talking Pods. realtalkingpod@gmail.com as well. Send in questions. What would you do?
Yeah.
in
Because
these scenarios.
everyone's got a different opinion on this.
Yeah, yeah. What does
Everyone has thought about if zombies was to happen, what the fuck would I do?
Yeah, there's got to be some talk about that's listening and we're like, nah, I don't care if they're a zombie or not. I'm just going to kill them because there's no laws going on now. So if you're one of them, send us in. And again, if you've got any ghost stories or anything that you want to just give your experiences, send them over. Just questions
I'd
again.
go with questions, yeah.
Yeah, you know, if you want to know how big actually cock is, then just ask the question. He probably won't answer because it's tiny, but you know, just send it in. But I'm Matt Buddha. Pod.
It's a part.
Thanks for listening.